Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hoki bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include GMFDI experiences revelation from God-sent angel Gabriel. People thronged the premises before revelation began. Manipur government directs eviction along National Highway 37 for highway expansion. News in details. Gospel Ministry for Disabilities India GMFDI experiences the deliverance of another message from God today, the 22nd of October 2024 at 1 p.m. sermon lasted for about 2 hours. The believers had gathered there by 11 a.m. already, where they sing and pray and wait for the intercession hour with God. The believers say that God spoke to them here with His voice. The believers have experienced this type of unearthly activities many times, even before the start of the conflict, where they were warned of the upcoming Manipur violence and many other things as well. In this very place, the workers used to cast out evil spirits who poses human with the aim to take their life. God revealed Himself, saying He had never revealed Himself before other people or race, nor will He reveal before other nation or race in the future. He said He had already planned these things when He created the world. Thousands of believers thronged the place amid extreme heat. In this very place, miraculous works in the name of Jesus are being performed, where sick and possessed are healed and also give deliverance to those who want to be born again. Healing prayers were met by the evangelists for the sick and needy that comes to them so that they can pray for them and cure their physical and spiritual illness. The revelation says that He will be proclaimed God through His works, and that the happenings and events occurring all over the world will also proclaim He is God.
Dunia tilbol ho jang hingjing hat chunung pathin ahina ahin phun do jing den hi vanoi thilsu ho zo se ke ma pathin kahina phung ki phung do jing den hi.
In our eyes, you people are the most precious because we had never accomplished so much works upon other people. But here in this place, under the command of the living God, we have done so many works for you and have been worshipping Him together with you all.
Nang ho he ke ho met modingin nalupe no ve aji chu atang ho chunga he chan ge hin ke ho nong na ka tong povin hinla nang ho wang hi chan gya hi na chungwa hingjing hat chunung pathin thu sa dong zuya na ka to wa nang ho to ka ba chai kho mo hi.
You people have touched the heart of the living God. You have pleased the living God. Hence you will be blessed with happiness both physically and spiritually. Victory has been bestowed upon you all.
Hingjing hat chunung pathin lung thim na tong khatawin hat chunung pathin lung thim na ke pa sa tawin heji ache ta sa le thagawa datta kipana na newa kilong lawa garzo na chuna newa hitai.
The living God
Dunia tilbol ho jang hingjing hat chunung pathin ahina ahin phun do jing den hi.
But nothing is impossible for the Lord. Look, have I ever turned back from my promises? I am the one who made promises with your forefather, Lord of Abraham, Lord of Isaac, Lord of Jacob. Did not I keep all my promises since the time of your forefathers? I am the one who made promises with your forefathers, and I am also the one who made promises with you today, says the Lord.
Hingjing hat chunung pathin sei sahi na ho ming lung gelin Ichul thei pontin mihing long gelin ai thei loading la so do thei loading in na ke gelvin ahin ven ke ma ka kitip na ipi thon kham na puna pa teu phat lai jong kitim che ke ma ka hin Abraham pathin, Isaac pathin, Jacob pathin. kema kitip na puna patiaw khanga zong kana kitip na epia thonumam hecha kitim zong chu kema ka hin tunya na ko ma kitim zong kema ka he.
As the Lord has been pleased by us, He promises to keep His words until forever by protecting us in whatever we do. He has entrusted His angel Michael to keep guard upon us. We will be expecting His presence everywhere until He sends His angel Gabriel to reveal and proclaim His holiness again. The district administration held a relief distribution program today at Mini Secretariat Tuibung for individuals affected by unrest in Manipur. The program aimed to provide essential items to various relief centers. Relief distribution breakdown is provided as follows. 47 relief camps under Tuibung SDO with 7,196 beneficiaries receive rice 398 bags, dal 81.70 bags, butter 31.50 bags, onion 20.25 bags, mustard oil 50.30 tin, and tin fish 700 pieces. 32 relief centers under Lamka SDO with 5,638 beneficiaries receive rice 311 bags, dal 64.10 bags, butter 25 bags, onion 15.99 bags, mustard oil 39.60 tins, and 550 pieces of tin fish. 7 relief centers under Saikot SDO with 1,056 beneficiaries receive rice 58.50 bags, dal 12.10 bags, butter 4.60 bags, onion 2.90 bags, mustard oil 7.30 tins, and 103 pieces of tin fish. 4 relief centers under Singat SDO with 901 beneficiaries receive rice 49.50 bags, dal 10.30 bags, butter 4 bags, onion 2.60 bags, mustard oil 6.20 tins, and 89 pieces of tin fish. 4 relief centers under Sangaikot SDO with 889 beneficiaries receive rice 49.70 bags, dal 10.10 bags, butter 4 bags, onion 2.60 bags, mustard oil 6.30 tins, and 88 pieces of tin fish. Total relief distribution includes rice 866.70 bags, dal 178.30 bags, butter 69.10 bags, onion 44.34 bags, mustard oil 109.70 tins, and 1,530 pieces of tin fish. New Lamka Health and Wellness Center in New Lamka observed Tuesday as General OPD Day, providing medical services to pregnant women and patients with various ailments. As an aspirational block since 2023, New Lamka Health and Wellness Center operates every Tuesday as General OPD, offering first trimester checkups for pregnant women 1 to 3 months, TB screening, non-communicable disease screening, BP, sugar, etc., and anemia tests as well. 2 months, 2 doctors attend to the patients during General OPD. Since October 2023, the centers had conducted checkup for more than 500 pregnant women and have treated more than 1,000 patients with various ailments. Additionally, pregnant women receive tetanus, diphtheria vaccinations. The center's service benefit residents of Lamka South TD block, particularly pregnant women who have received medicines free of cost but based on availability. The Subdivisional Magistrate SDM of Jiribam has issued a directive for the eviction of all structures and buildings situated within the right-of-way ROW along National Highway 37. This order comes after a mandate from the Deputy Commissioner of Jiribam, who has authorized the clearance of land to enable the highway's development. The authorities had previously issued public notices on May 13, 2024 and October 14, 2024, informing the landowners about the acquisition of the stretch of land for highway expansion. The notices identified as number 1/1/1/2024/DC-JBM and number 1/1/2224/DC-JBM 199 urge the affected individuals to promptly hand over possession of the acquired properties to the Deputy Commissioner or the National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited (NHIDCL). In the latest directive, SDM TX Manora Ranjan Singh has given a 7-day ultimatum for all landowners who have received compensation amount to remove any structures or buildings located within the ROW. Failure to comply within the specified period will result in the removal of the structures without any further notice, potentially involving the use of police forces to enforce the eviction. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has stated significant developments in Senapati district that promise to transform the educational and infrastructural landscape of the region. Singh expressed his enthusiasm for the progress of two landmark projects, the Indian Institute of Information Technology IIIT, Mayankhang, and a pioneering multi-level parking facility. The IIIT Mayankhang is said to be a prestigious institution of higher learning, offering world-class education tailored to the needs of the region's youth. Singh emphasized that this initiative will not only enhance educational opportunities but also pave the way for new career paths, contributing to the overall socio-economic development of the area. In addition to the educational advancement, the construction of the multi-level parking facility marks a significant milestone as the first of its kind in Manipur. This facility aims to elevate transportation challenges and improve infrastructure within the district, addressing the pressing need for organized parking solutions as the region continues to grow. These projects are not merely about physical development. They reflect our broader vision for a bright and prosperous future for the hill districts of the state, Singh said. A devastating fire ravaged Unity Village in Nagaland's Chumoke Dima district on Monday morning, completely gutting 10 houses and partially damaging 3 others. The blaze, which erupted around 10 a.m., caused significant property damage, though no casualties were reported. Firefighters from the Chumoke Dima fire station, led by Sub-Inspector Nonglang Sangba Molier, were quick to respond to the scene. 3 fire tenders from Chumoke Dima and 2 additional tenders from the Central Fire Station were deployed to battle the inferno. Despite the intensity of the flames, the fire brigade managed to bring the situation under control within 45 minutes, preventing further damage. Speaking about the incident, Molier praised the prompt response of the fire department. The situation could have been worse, but our team was able to contain the fire quickly, minimizing the spread to the neighboring homes, he said. 85 Indian nationals have been discharged from the Russian military so far, and efforts are on to secure the release of 20 more Indians, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said on Monday. The Indian side is expected to take up the issue of discharge of the remaining Indians when Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday on the margins of the BRICS summit in the Russian city of Kazan, people familiar with the matter said. PM Modi had strongly raised the issue of early discharge of the Indian nationals working in the Russian army during his talks with Putin in Moscow in July. The Indian side is in very close touch with interlocutors in the foreign and defense ministries of Russia on the issue of Indians who were illegally or otherwise contracted into fighting in the Russian army. Mr. Misri said at a media briefing on PM Modi's visit to Russia for the BRICS summit. The Prime Minister will leave for Kazan on Tuesday morning. Our understanding at the present moment, as per present information, is that about 85 people have returned from Russia. Unfortunately, we have also had the return of some mortal remains of people who lost their lives during the conflict, Misri said. Our understanding is that nearly 20 people still remained in the Russian army, and we are pressing our interlocutors for an early discharge of all remaining Indians in the armed forces, there he said. 9 Indians have died while serving in the Russian army, according to official data. In August, the Russian embassy said Moscow and New Delhi are working in close coordination for an early identification and discharge of the Indian nationals who voluntarily joined contractual work in the military service and now want to return home. Since April, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation has stopped recruiting citizens of a number of foreign countries, including India, into the military service, it said. 6 people died and 3 were injured following an oxygen cylinder blast, which led to a partial house collapse in the Sikandrabad area of Bulandshahr district, officials said on Tuesday. District Magistrate of Bulandshahr, Chandra Prakash Singh, said the incident occurred on Monday evening in the house of one Riyajuddin, in which around 19 people, including women and children, were living. Riyajuddin was involved in the shuttering work, the process of giving support and stability to concrete during construction work before it becomes solid. The initial death toll was 5, which increased to 6 in the early hours of Tuesday. City Magistrate Chandra Prakash Priyadarshi said 6 bodies, 3 male and 3 female, were brought to the district hospital. According to officials, those that were identified as Riyajuddin alias Raju, 50, his wife Rukhsana, 45, Salman, 16, Tamanna, 24, Hifza, 3, and As Muhammad, 26. DM Singh said a cylinder blast occurred in the Asapuri colony of Sikandrabad between 8:30 p.m. and 9 p.m., leading to the collapse of the entire house. He said 8 residents were taken to the hospital, while others were safe. Additional Director General of Police Mirut John Dhruva Kant Thakur said information about the casualties was received, after which rescue and relief operations were launched immediately. Personnel of the NDRF, Fire Brigade, Police, Medical and the local administration were involved in the rescue work, he said. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath took immediate cognizance of the incident. We were sent to the spot and directions were issued that good quality treatment should be given to the injured persons, the DM said. About the rescue operation, he said the iron beams of the roof of the house had to be pried open using gas cutters. At the same time, an excavator was pressed into action to clear the debris. On Tuesday morning, Senior Superintendent of Police Bulat Sankar Slok Kumar told PTI that the rescue operation had been completed at the site. Although the surviving family members have said that no one was trapped under the debris anymore, the rescue teams took all precautions while carrying out their work, he added. A total of 6 persons have died and another 3 suffered injuries in the blast, because of which the front portion of the double-story house collapsed, Kumar said. The wife of Riyajuddin was undergoing treatment for an ailment at a hospital and was recently brought back to the home, where the family had brought an oxygen cylinder along with its accessories to help in the post-hospitalization care, the SSP said. This oxygen cylinder exploded. The cylinder, its nozzle, etc. have been recovered from the debris, the district police chief told PTI. The bodies have been sent for post-mortem and further legal proceedings in the matter are underway, he added. A reported 90 Hawks bomb threats have been made against Indian airlines in the past week, provoking international travel chaos as planes were grounded, diverted and flown to safety by fighter jet escorts. The unprecedented surge in fake bomb threats against multiple Indian and international airlines has caused severe disruptions to India's aviation industry and created a growing sense of panic among air passengers. Last week, there were a reported 90 bomb threats made against airlines flying domestically and to international destinations out of Indian airports. On Saturday alone, 30 Hawks threats were reported, and at least 20 more threats were made to different airlines on Sunday. Indian aviation authorities and criminal investigators have yet to uncover the source and motive of the surge in bomb threats, which are largely being sent via email or posted through anonymous accounts on social media platforms such as X. Major Indian airlines such as Air India, Vistara, SpiceJet, and Indigo have primarily been targeted, but American Airlines, JetBlue, and Air New Zealand have also had threats that led to flights being diverted. The impact on India's airline industry has been enormous. Regulations and forcing airlines to act on every threat, meaning dozens of planes have had to reroute and make emergency landings in third countries such as Turkey or Germany, or return back to India. On Sunday, Afghanistan refused permission for a Vistara flight bound to Frankfurt to make an emergency landing after it received a bomb threat, forcing the plane to turn back to India. India's air travel sector has been booming, with domestic air traffic carrying 152 million passengers in 2023. Over the past week, passengers have been left enraged as their travel has been delayed, sometimes by days, and airlines are facing huge financial losses. Last week, an Air India Boeing 777 en route from Delhi to Chicago was diverted to the remote Canadian town of Iqaluit due to a bomb threat. The 200 passengers on board were grounded for 3 days before finally making it to Chicago on board a Canadian Air Force plane. In incidents in Singapore and the UK last week, fighter jets were dispatched to escort Indian flights that had been issued with bomb threats. India's Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu described the surge in Hawks threat as a matter of grave concern and said that those responsible for the disruptions will be identified and duly prosecuted. The scale of the threats over the past week is far beyond anything India's aviation industry has had to deal with before. Between 2014 and 2017, India flights received about 120 bomb threats in total. Officials have made one arrest of a minor and introduced rules that anyone found involved in a bomb hoax will be put on a no-fly list. However, officials are still scrambling to get to the bottom of the issue as the threats continue to come in unstopped. An aviation security official who spoke to Indian media described a pattern in how the threats were being issued. A threat is given using social media or through a phone call, and then suddenly similar threats start to appear within a short span of time, they said. They said while the motive was still to be determined, it was clearly intended to disturb the aviation sector, create panic, and keep the agencies on their toes. India's top diplomat Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri revealed on Monday that India and China had reached an arrangement for patrolling by both sides along the Line of Actual Control (LAC) in eastern Ladakh. Diplomatic and military negotiations have been ongoing since May 2020, when the Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army (PLA), intruded in large numbers into 5 areas traditionally claimed and patrolled by the Indian Army. In fierce clashes between the two sides in the Galwan River Valley in June 2020, 20 Indian soldiers were killed in action, while an intermediate number of Chinese soldiers were also killed or injured. In negotiations since then, the two sides claim to have resolved disagreements over the alignment of the LAC in 3 areas: Galwan Valley, Gogra Hot Springs, and Pangong Lake area. Misri's statement on Monday apparently pertains to Depsang and Demchong, the remaining 2 areas where the PLA is in possession of Indian territory. These constitute the bulk of the disputed area. If China is accommodating regarding Depsang and Demchong, a resolution of the Sino-India territorial dispute in eastern Ladakh could be possible. However, the Indian statement about a settlement in Depsang and Demchong has not been corroborated by officials from China's Foreign Ministry or the Ministry of National Defense China. Misri said that several rounds of diplomatic and military negotiations over the past week have resulted in an agreement on patrolling arrangements along the LAC in the India-China border areas, leading to a disengagement and a resolution of the issues that arose in these areas in 2020. This development comes ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia on Tuesday to attend the BRICS summit, an acronym for a group of nations comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Although there has been no official announcement, Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping may talk bilaterally on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. However, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, when asked in Beijing whether a meeting between Xi and Modi was likely, responded with a non-committal. "We will keep you posted if anything comes up." In the most recent developments in September 2022, India and Chinese troops staged a mutual withdrawal from the Gogra hot spring area in Ladakh. Even so, Chinese soldiers remain in possession of large swaths of Indian territory in the Dipsang Plains and Dimchok in southern Ladakh. China's possession of Indian territory in the Dipsang area is particularly egregious. First, this is the northernmost tip of India. Second, the PLA has intruded most deeply into this sector, advancing as much as 15 kilometers into Indian patrol territory. Indian generals, in their multiple rounds of talks with their Chinese counterparts, have demanded full disengagement from territory that India has held and patrolled for decades in eastern Ladakh. New Delhi maintains that a restoration of the pre-May 2020 status quo is essential for the restoration of peace and tranquility. In early October, Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi claimed that the two sides have plucked the low-hanging fruit and now needed to address the more difficult situations. He said that there was positive signaling from the diplomatic engagement and that further progress depended on the military commanders of the two countries. The Israeli military announced on Sunday the death of a brigade commander in a blast in northern Gaza, where Israeli forces have been engaged in sweeping assault targeting Hamas. Colonel Aksan Daksa, commander of the 401 Brigade, was killed in the Jabalia area when an explosive struck him as he left his tank, military spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said in a briefing. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said in a separate statement that Daksa was killed while fighting Hamas territories. Hagari said that another battalion commander and two officers were likely wounded in the incident. They stepped outside to observe the area and were struck by an explosive, he said. Daksa 41 was a member of the Druze community and was appointed brigade commander 4 months ago. He was one of the most senior army commanders killed in the year-long Gaza war. His brigade was leading the offensive in Jabalia, said Hagari. Israel forces launched a withering land and air assault in Jabalia and other parts of northern Gaza on October 6 when the military says aims to prevent Hamas militants from regrouping. The Civil Defense Agency in the Hamas-run territory said that more than 400 people have been killed in the 2 weeks assault, which was still underway on Sunday. Daksa has been decorated for rescuing wounded soldiers during Israel's 2006 war against Hezbollah. The two sides are currently again at war in Lebanon. Israel's President Isaac Herzog called Daksa a hero, saying his death was a loss to Israel and for Israeli society. His death brings Israel military fatalities to 358 in the Gaza campaign since the start of the ground offensive in the Palestinian territory on October 27, 2023. A helicopter crash has killed 4 passengers, including a child, in the southern U.S. city of Houston, authorities said, with the accident also destroying a radio transmission tower. The private aircraft either struck a cable or actually struck at the tower, Houston Police Chief Noe Days told reporters. No one on the ground was injured in the crash on Sunday, he added, and investigations to determine the cause of the accident were ongoing. Television footage showed burning debris on the ground after the crash, and other videos apparently from CCTV cameras appear to show the helicopter approaching the tower and then bursting into flame. John Whitmer, the city's mayor, said the crash took place near a residential area and close to a highly flammable tank of butane. "We are fortunate that it wasn't worse," he said. Whitmer said the firefighters had responded to the sound of a loud explosion with a fireball visible in the air. The helicopter had taken off from an airfield less than 18 miles, 30 kilometers from the crash site, according to authorities. Houston, located in the state of Texas, is the 4th largest city in the United States with a population of 2.3 million. South Korea has summoned the Russian ambassador to Seoul to protest in the strongest terms about the reported dispatch of thousands of North Korean troops to help Russia in its war against Ukraine. The first Vice Foreign Minister, Kim Hong-kyun, told the Russian envoy, George Genoviev, that the participation of North Korean troops in the war violated UN resolutions and demanded their immediate withdrawal, South Korea's foreign ministry said in a statement on Monday. We condemn North Korea's illegal military cooperation, including its dispatch of troops to Russia, in the strongest terms, Kim said, adding that the deployment posed a serious threat to the security of South Korea and other countries. We will respond jointly with the international community by mobilizing all available means against acts that threaten our core security interests. The decision to call in Genoviev reflects mounting anger in South Korea, Ukraine, and the US over the apparent deployment of North Korean troops as part of a secret military deal struck this year by the Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, South Korea's National Intelligence Service said last week that the North Korean had sent an initial contingent of 1,500 special forces personnel to the Russia Far East for training at local military bases, adding that they were expected to go on active service in the war in Ukraine. On Friday, the spy agency had said North Korea planned to send about 12,000 special forces to support Russia, possibly to make up for substantial losses of Russian troops and a lack of replacements. It also released satellite images, it said, showed the first deployment of elite North Korean soldiers being moved by Russian military vessels to Vladivostok between 8 and 13 October. North Korea transported its special forces to Russia via a Russian Navy transport ship, confirming the start of North Korea's military participation, it said. The White House could not confirm reports that North Korean troops were fighting for Russia, but a National Security Council spokesperson said that, if true, it would mark a dangerous development in Russia's war against Ukraine. Ukrainian officials on Monday released a video purporting to show dozens of North Korean recruits lining up to collect Russian military fatigues. The video, published by the Center for Strategic Communication and Information Security, part of Ukrainian Culture and Information Ministry, appears to show the soldiers waiting to pick up bags, clothes and other items from Russia's service personnel. We received this video from our own sources, Ihor Solovey, the head of the center, told Associated Press, adding that he was unable to provide additional verification due to security concerns. The video clearly shows North Korean citizens being given Russian uniforms under the direction of the Russian military, he said. For Ukraine, this video is important because it is the first video evidence that shows North Korea participating in the war on the side of Russia. Now, not only with weapons and shells, but also with personnel. The center claimed the footage had been shot by a Russian soldier in recent days. It did not say how it had obtained the clip, and the location is unknown. Orange life jackets bob in the water where bystanders rush from a human chain for passing survivors to safety. Others shoulder at the task of wrapping bodies in blankets and carrying them to shore. The frantic scene after an aluminum gangway collapsed Saturday at a boat dock on a Georgia barrier island cape, what was supposed to have been a day of celebration, an annual festival spotlighting the culture and history of Sapelos Island tiny Gulagichi community of black slave descendants. The collapse occurred as visitors were boarding a ferry back to the mainland. Officials said up to 40 people were standing on the gangway when it gave out at about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Merce landing dock. At least 20 plunged into the Atlantic waters, where a strong tidal current threatened to pull them out of sea. It was chaotic. It was horrible, said island resident Reginald Holt, who charged into the water and was handed a young child to pass along to others, forming a human chain 60 yards to the shore. 7 people died in the collapse, said Walter Rabon, commissioner of the Georgian Department of Natural Resources. He told reporters at a news conference Sunday that 3 people remain hospitalized in critical condition in the aftermath. One of the people killed was identified as Charles Houston, the chaplain for the Georgian Department of Natural Resources, Georgian State Patrol, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. None of the others have been identified. Rabon attributed the collapse to a structural issue with the state-operated dock, which had been rebuilt in 2021 and inspected in December 2023 by Christian Equipment Company, according to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. He said an accident reconstruction team was working with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation as the probe got underway to determine the cause of what he called a catastrophic failure on the gangway. Rabon could not say whether maintenance on the dock could have prevented the collapse. In October 2023, several Israelis were held hostage in dark tunnel in Gaza. Suddenly, a man emerged out of nowhere. This was the Hamas chief, Yahya Sinwar. When asked if he was ashamed of abducting an Israeli peace campaigner, he responded with silence. This video found by the Israeli military was one of the last traces of the terror group Hamas' new chief, Yahya Sinwar. This is the man who ordered the October 7 attacks on Israel, killing 1,200 people. While it has been difficult to find him, he was the prime target of Israel. The last trace of Sinwar was a video from October 10, where he was seen with his wife and children as he went into a narrow tunnel, the Guardian reported. On Thursday, Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) were cross-checking if Sinwar was among 3 people killed in an airstrike in Gaza. After initial testing of DNA samples, Israel confirmed that Sinwar was killed in an operation in Gaza. Before the reports of the operation in Gaza, Sinwar had been out of the public eye for weeks now, fueling speculations that he was dead. But several reports, including one from the Washington Post, claimed Sinwar was alive and ordering suicide bombings. The White House media's Brett MC Girk even claimed that he was in an underground Gaza tunnel, also called Gaza Metro, according to the Times of Israel. A report by The Guardian also earlier stated that Sinwar was in a tunnel inside Gaza, a completely underground city with human seals to protect him. It would not have been easy for Israel to locate Sinwar, who spent 22 years in an Israeli jail. He had an understanding for Israeli military brains and their security system work. He also had the skills to evade them. The 22 years in jail and an impoverished childhood in Gaza's refugee camp still Sinwar's resolve for a Palestinian nation. Sinwar was born in a refugee camp in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza in 1962. In 2011, Sinwar negotiated the extent of 1,027 prisoners in Israel custody, including himself, for one kidnapped Israel soldier held in Gaza. As Sinwar continued the nerve-wracking negotiations, an Israeli assault led to the death of thousands of Palestinians. Sinwar was infamous as the butcher of Khan Yunis for torturing and killing at least a dozen Palestinians accused of spying for the Israelis. His high tolerance for suffering for himself and others was one of the reasons of dissent among some Gazans against him. He, however, has a firm grip of Hamas. Sinwar was one rare enemy of Israel who was still standing. Israel in recent months has already eliminated the top leaders of the Lebanon-based terror group Hezbollah, including its chief Hassan Nasrallah and his potential successor Qassem Safieddine. Israel is also in a war with Iran, which backs Hezbollah. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.